Hello, my name's Andrew Kedman. I'm the Principal Director for LJ Hooker, Ipswich, Fernvale and Graceville. I've got some great news to pass on to our clients in regards to some of the changes that were discussed and were going to be brought about by the Queensland Government in regards to the COVID-19 tenancy protection. The guidelines that first came out were quite one-sided, and we passed that information on to you, our client, advising some of the concerns that we had, both within the LJ Hooker Group, our own team, and of course other agencies around Queensland. We had the chance to vocalise the concerns that we had through the RAIQ that met with the Queensland Government on Friday with the Queensland Housing Department to discuss our issues that we laid on the table. And we have some great news. The Queensland Government has certainly taken on board those concerns that we raised with them on Friday, and they're looking at making some changes to their original proposal. These changes will be discussed further, and we're looking at the opportunity of having those ratified this Wednesday, and then once they're ratified we can then progress forward, bearing in mind that the changes that we've discussed making to their proposal, LJ Hooker, Ipswich, Fernvale and Graceville are already enacting on. We are already following up on those requirements because basically they're common sense, and we're doing that on behalf of our landlords within a balanced regime with our tenants as well. We have exactly the same standpoint as the RAIQ. Personally, my team have always had the same standpoint that we need to look after both our tenants and our landlords to have a fair and reasonable outcome. And a fair and reasonable outcome is to ensure that the security, safety, and enjoyment of peace for our tenants, and ensure that our landlords continue to have a successful return on their investment property with the least amount of aggravation, because we're managing on their behalf. So that's always been our aim, and we continue to do that. And thankfully we'll continue to do that after the amendments on Wednesday. So just quickly going through what they are. Rental arrears, we are now able to negotiate with the tenant when the tenant has shown to us that they are in financial hardship. We're able to negotiate with the tenant on your behalf a rental deferral, meaning that if we have to negotiate from $350 a week down to $200 a week, the difference is continued to be maintained. At the end of the time when they're back to work again, or whatever that situation may be, they're able to pay back the money that they owe our owners. That way it doesn't negate any of the insurance policies that our owners may have. So rental deferrals are back on the program, which is wonderful. Tenants have to show that they're at least in financial difficulty of 25% or more, less of what their standard income is, and they need to be able to prove that to us. They can't just walk out of the property unless they have extreme financial issues, which is roughly a loss of 75% or more of their current revenue streams. So if they can prove that, then obviously we don't want them staying in the property. There is issues, they can hand back the keys within 7 days notice, but it needs to be under the terminology, and they need to be able to prove it, of extreme financial hardship. Entry conditions or entries, we are now able to go back to standard routines. We can do our standard routines physically. If the tenant has an issue with that, we understand that there are concerns. We then ask the tenant to do a virtual routine, and the tenant needs then to be able to assist us to do it. They can no longer just refuse it. So that's great. So smoke alarms are back. So we again, not only protecting the property, but we're protecting our tenants as well, and that they're being looked after. Sales can do their current market analysis again. They can go back to taking buyers through the property. They can go back to selling your property as normal. Again, we need to adhere to to the strict guidelines of no more than 2 people through the property at any one given time. So that's the agent plus one other buyer. The other buyers can sit and wait whatever outside, but they need to go through, so there's no more than 2 people in the property. Building and pest is exactly the same. It needs to be the agent plus the pest inspector or the agent plus the building inspector, but not 3 people. And that's fair and reasonable. And obviously we need to adhere to the strict hygiene requirements as well. And we're doing that not only for the town's behalf, but also for the sales and the property management team as well. There's a number of other guidelines that are going to be discussed and will come out on Wednesday, but they're the main ones that we had concerns with. The rental arrears are going to be sorted. Entry requirements for routines, for sales, for smoke alarms, etc. are back to standard again, which is great. And sales agents can get back to taking buyers through the properties, which is great. The tenants, if they're under extreme hardship, can leave within 7 days' notice, but they need to be able to prove 75% or more of their standard revenue has been lost. So some great results, and we look forward to the developments on Wednesday. We'll keep you informed. All the best for now. Please be safe. From our family to yours, kind regards.